Hey guys, we are about, I don't know, 1,000 miles into our road trip on the factory tours, and we are at Big Adventures. And so Hans, I just texted him, he's inside waiting for us. I'm gonna walk you through the factory tour and share with you how these kayaks are actually made. I'm pretty excited about it, so let's hop in. Let's go find Hans. Oh, I like it. There he is.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you.
Obviously it's the setup because he has a mic on. You like that?
That's perfect.
Not fooling anybody.
Pre-mic.
How'd you get that mic on? It's amazing.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I've seen other people come in and do a little bit, but I hope to let's peel back the onion. I really want to learn a lot about this. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's go check out the factory.
All right, out of the store.
Yes.
You guys just got kayaks laying around everywhere.
So we do have, yeah. This is a sign of us being pretty busy, staying busy. So that's
good news.
Yeah,
oh wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is the main part of the factory. We have right in this area we have our sewing area, which is a place where we bring in a lot of different fabrics, seat cushioning, and do like multi-layered seat pads for like Bonafide, native brands, and then for our Hurricane brands. And all of the seat pads are they're all sewn here. And
right there.
Yep, right here. We'll die cut, stitch, edge bind, so we add logos and all that stuff right here. We can be more flexible with how we design for down the road. You know, we can design our seat frames uniquely to fit our boats. We can make, we can add. There have been times where we're like, you know, this seat pad needs a little upgrade, and it's like because it's right here. It's so much easier to do.
Doing it in-house makes it nice.
In-house.
This is wild. These are the molds for all your kayaks.
Yeah.
It looks archaic.
They are not from the 1700s.
No, they look like you pulled something up from the ocean floor, and we're in a museum right now. Yeah. This is pretty rad.
Yeah, so these things are pretty heavy. They are, the molds are made from aluminum.
Okay.
And then the framing on the outside is steel. That's why everything looks rusty.
Got it.
But when they go in the oven, over time, they cook in an oven. They're gonna look old pretty quick. You crack these things open. They crack open like a.
Nice,
you would expect a mold would. Yeah.
Pulling all these.
Yep. You pull these levers, and the latches open. And when they pop open, the inside is polished aluminum. So you guys are going to get to see that in a little bit.
All right, we're going to crack one open.
But what's really cool about these is just these things have to go up on a gigantic arm and spin, you know, and they spin in different directions.
I see it.
So like you see that over there.
Kinda.
It's something to see. It looks like it came out of the 17 or 1800s, but this
is wild. So I'm curious. I'm looking at this. What are all these little? What are all these little things?
So,
little pins?
Depending on the mold, depending on who made it, there are different ways for inserts to get in and out of them.
These are going to be inserts inside.
So these will add inserts. Yeah.
Got it.
You'll see lots of features like vent tubes. So the air inside expands as the boat heats up.
Yep.
So you got to have vent tubes.
For an explosion, one of the two?
Yes, that can happen.
Oh,
or powder coming out. So the resin comes in powder form. You'll see that in a little bit.
Okay.
We dump it in, and they dump it in these big trash cans.
What is something like this custom make? It looks all wildly custom.
It is completely custom. It's varied over the years that I've been doing it.
Yeah.
But it is definitely in the tens of thousands of dollars by the time you get it all set up and ready to go. So we always, one of the things is so I'm in the design side,
right? And
it's all now designed on the computer. So I'm designing a kayak on a computer screen that's this big, but in the end, it's this big, right? So you have to really sweat the details because you only get one shot. Right.
Oh, that's all pressure.
Yeah, so it's a good bit of pressure.
Because that's an expensive mistake if you mess up.
Exactly. And a lot of time. So that does put a lot of pressure on it.
All right, so I see on here the RVR 119.
Yep.
So do you have multiple molds that you run at the same time, or is this the only mold that you have?
This is it. This is one mold for the RVR. Occasionally we'll do two molds, but for most of our boats, we're running one mold. It allows us to control the quality of the boat really well. We have to plan, and that's why you'll see when you come out in the factory, we have a lot of ovens. Not all of them run all at once.
Okay.
Because what we're doing is we're planning the season out, trying to make sure that we mold the right amount of colors at the right time.
It's a guessing game, forecasting game.
It's a forecasting game, and then we don't want to store too much inventory in our warehouses.
Yeah,
so it's always a bit of a game to try and make sure you get them done right. But if you can imagine, this boat's got a mold. Pick a number, like it takes an hour to make an RVR.
Okay.
Let's just say an hour.
Yep.
Well, if you need to sell however many of them that you're going to sell, you've got to dedicate that many hours to this mold being on the oven.
Right.
So multiply that times a lot of these molds, and you know, it's a puzzle to make sure that we get all the boats molded in the right colors, at the right time.
Do you run 24/7? Sometimes in the season?
We have, yeah. We don't do that a lot because it's manpower, and then it adds a lot of other things.
So if you own a RVR 119, it came from this mold right here. Mine was stuck in here at one point.
Absolutely.
And they popped it out.
I might have even pulled it out of the mold.
That's awesome.
Probably not.
So this looks different than this one.
Yeah, there's some differences in the way they get made, and the mold makers, they kind of decide what their process is.
That's machine cut.
It's machined on the outside. This one's machined on the outside, which is really cool. They're all machined on the inside now. They used to be completely hand sand casting, but now they're machined on the inside, sometimes on the outside, and that's really cool because it controls. We get better control on heat, like the thermal properties of actually molding the boat.
How much do these things weigh? Obviously, they all weigh different because they're all different. But
you know, I should know that, but it's I think they're 1,500 to 2,000 pounds.
Oh wow,
like that. So
all right, this looks like a. I'm looking around. This looks like the biggest thing you have in here.
Yeah, so. This is the big ferry. It's a 3-arm ferry, so we can. Technically, you could mold about 12 boats all at once.
Okay.
I would never recommend doing that, but you have the actual capacity that you could do that.
Can we go over here?
Yeah, let's go over. What you're looking at is
you put that on this.
Yep.
Run it.
This is the mold lift. This will catch the mold when we crack it open.
Got it.
You bring it down.
That's the powder you were talking about.
Yep.
I always thought it would be pellets. Well, maybe because I was just at Yak Attack and they have pellets, but this is actually what goes in there.
Our grind, it's like coffee. It's like coffee.
It makes sense.
Is that about an espresso grind?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
100%.
Yeah. What you're looking at is these two molds. If the oven were running, these would be loaded and headed into the oven.
Got it.
When they crack open, we're gonna go over here and get powder, put it in these big trash cans and pour it in. And you're pouring it in, and the mold makers have a specific way that they have to pour the patterns in order to get those blends and stuff like that. All right. And so they'll add.
It's like coffee art.
It is.
Like
it's latte art. Exactly.
So I can imagine some people are really good at making what they want.
Exactly. So they'll add the logos into the mold before the mold goes in the oven, and it will melt into the plastic.
Got it.
You've got logos added. You've got inserts.
Like brass inserts?
Yep.
Okay, they're just going around pushing these into the
these go in.
I've always wondered what they look like inside of the plastic.
Yep.
That way it doesn't pop out.
They have bite, and there's various styles of inserts that need to go in each mold.
All right. I like it.
And then they will load it with plastic, close it up. It goes into the big bay door over here.
It's good.
And you'll see it when it comes out. Well, we'll show that in a second.
Oh wow.
It will actually start to tumble. This thing will tumble. This is a multi-axis machine, so it's not only rotating barrel rolling, but it's moving in the other axis direction.
It's like you went to the carnival and you sat in there. It's one of those left, right, up and down. That's a massive oven. So these doors shut. What's the temperature these get up to?
I think it's going up to like 350, 400.
Okay.
So it's not
That's
crazy.
Not crazy.
You're
Just enough to melt.
You're cooking a pizza.
Yep.
You know, the molds will come out the other side of the oven.
Yep.
And they will hit a cooling fixture or they'll hit fans where they cool off.
Yeah, I saw that right there.
And we'll typically try to crack the mold when the internal temperature is in that 200-degree range.
Is that moisture that gets pumped out of that too?
That is. They will pump. They actually mist water onto the molds to help them cool faster.
Okay.
So there's misters, and they're pretty loud.
What happens when you
we're actually fortunate?
You ever crack a mold? That happen?
Yeah, it has.
How's that happen?
Well, we had one years ago. We had one that fell off of a table.
Oh,
that kind of crack.
Got it. Not in the oven crack.
No, not in the oven. No.
All right.
No. But they're pretty solidly built. They're framed up pretty well, so
This is wild.
They withstand a lot. This was the original oven that we put in at Bonafide.
Okay.
When we had the factory in South Carolina.
Oh, so this is moved once.
So it's moved multiple times. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you've got that looks like a 107 molding up there, and that may be a U10 down below.
Okay.
So we're running multiple boats.
So I imagine in the summer, 1, 2, 3, 4 ovens?
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually more ovens than that.
Hot. Probably gets hot.
Yeah, it gets really warm in here. So the boats come off the cooling fans, the mold opens.
Yep.
The hot boat comes over and lands on these cooling fixtures, and it is still shrinking at that time. So
I've heard of this. There are some companies that won't put fixtures in, like brass inserts, because it's too hard of a process because it's shrinking.
Yes.
How much does a boat shrink?
It shrinks about 3%. That's
so on a 13-foot boat, you're talking inches.
Inches. It's a good bit. I mean, you're talking quite a bit by the time it has fully gone from the inside of the mold to fully cooled off. And that's part of the sort of the black science.
That's like voodoo going on in here.
This is like roto-molding is like part science, part voodoo.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to get everything to cool in the right shape. And also the big thing too is like if our molders are running the ovens correctly, the inside of the boat, the wall thickness is more consistent, which means you get a better boat.
Right.
And that matters. That matters a lot, because if you have, let's say, if you have a poorly molded boat, you may have more resin, more plastic in one end versus the other,
right? Or
on one side versus the other. So all that matters. It all adds up.
It's gonna, if it's going to crack, it's going to do so where it's the thinnest usually, or the most wherever the pressure is.
Yeah. So
uniformity is key.
Uniformity. We put a lot of effort into getting boats to cool correctly, and you're right that the inserts. The count of inserts going up. We seem to be adding more inserts all the time.
Yeah.
It gets harder and harder for us to mold boats. So.
Well, also they're hollow. So I imagine when they're hot, when they come out of the oven, everything wants to fall in.
Yes, that's right. And I have to design them for that, knowing that the boat will change as it cools, as it falls in, and
it's like a moving target.
It's a moving target. Yeah. Sometimes I do not hit that moving target, but it's
you
part
must be pretty good at it. You're still working here, right?
I'm still doing it. Yeah.
All the cooling trays, the kayaks. Yeah. This looks like a finishing table with all the.
This is a finishing table. The hot boats will be trimmed out. Parts will be cut out. Parts will be added. So we have sort of a pre-production going over here, and then they'll move over to be fully assembled further on.
Okay. Right, now you got some working ovens.
Yep. Here's one. This is a mold being prepped to go into back into the oven. This is the native, the LTE.
All right, here.
He's about to make some noise. You can do it.
Yeah. Make the noise. You keep working, brother.
So that's a trim out fixture for the power link plate.
You got a little jig there. Makes it happen real fast.
Jig. Feel how. Put your hand. Don't hold your hand on there, but
oh, it's warm.
Yeah.
LT, I own one of these.
Yeah.
The problem is when you get into a small kayak after you've been in a large kayak, it just feels cramped. It's still a great boat. It just feels a little tight for me.
It's a totally different
But
feel.
I was in a 10-footer, the Native Slayer, circa 2018 for a long time. I ran that for a couple of years.
Yep. Going from small to big.
Yep.
Maxes.
Got some Maxes.
Yep.
You guys run for NuCanoe as well.
NuCanoe, yep. We do some molding for NuCanoe.
Now Blake told me it's okay if I take one of these.
Look, if he said it's okay,
he said it was okay. Yeah, Thank you, Blake.
Just grab this
Appreciate
one.
Appreciate it.
Head out.
Yeah, we're all messing up with this guy. This guy's like, don't touch my work. That door's shut. There's something in there cooking right now?
We've got one in there. That's probably an LTE or a whitewater boat.
And they're taking something off over here.
Yeah, this one's going into the spin cycle. That's a PWR.
Okay.
So we can.
There's not a chance no one's not seeing you in this boat.
Yeah.
that is very loud.
That's road cone right there.
Yeah, right. If you're worried about safety, I got the boat for you.
That's it.
Here
we go. He's about to crack this one open.
Oh, they're about to crack it open. All right, we'll top over here.
Yeah, so this is the new hammers coming out. It's going to come over to these. It's going to come over to the cooling fixture. This mold operates a bit differently, so this is an oven that allows us to mold much bigger boats than what we were just looking at.
Ready?
So how long was this cooking? Oh,
There it is.
You just rip it out of there.
Yeah. So this boat probably was in the oven for 35 minutes.
Okay.
Cools for another 15, 20 minutes.
So you can burn your fingers if you touch that.
Yeah, that one is hot.
That is shiny.
Yep.
Shiny, shiny. You can feel the heat from it.
You can feel the heat, yeah. It's funny because if you were to actually put something here and come back, you would be amazed at how far that's going to move in the next few minutes. This is probably still 200 some degrees.
Oh wow. So of course you're going to have these little,
yeah.
So that's when the finisher would come through and just cut that off and whatever, sand it down.
That flashing is normal, and so while it's hot, they'll come back and they'll run that mold line, clean it up, and then they'll
I literally feel the heat from it. Oh, that's rad.
Yeah. Thank you. If we're taking up your time, we'll just tell us to move. You got time? Okay. So you can see, for example, like everywhere we have an insert where you have a threaded insert on the kayak in the mold, we have to take account for that, for those little spots where the inserts are going to be added.
So this is your world. This is kind of what you're designing on CAD.
Yeah. I'm designing this on CAD.
So you work like an inverse. Your brain has to look like a negative.
Well, I build the boat the way we see it.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, it kind of goes.
Oh, to the forward. Okay, got it.
Then it goes to the upside down world.
Stranger Things, Bonafide edition.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. So you got one oven. These look the same.
So what he's going to do is, because they cool on different sides, he's running two boats.
Okay.
So he'll reload this. If he were going to run this one again, he would reload this one. The XTR would be coming out, and it would head into cooling over here. But I think they're shutting the oven down for now. But that's how it would. They would basically just
alternate back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a turret oven. I think they may also be called rock and rolls.
Okay. Yeah, because this isn't flipping. So how do you move the plastic around?
So what's happening here is that when the door closes, this boat is actually going to be just spinning
like this
in a barrel roll.
Okay.
Okay. And then the whole oven, the whole box is going to tilt back and forth like this.
Okay.
So the recipe for that, and part of the reason you get different color banding depending on what kind of oven you're on, is just how that mold is rocking around.
Okay.
And so on this oven you can get better cross banding than you can on our other oven. And so we change up colors a little bit for that, but mostly this oven is much easier to mold big boats.
Okay.
And the timing works out because it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of effort just getting one mold prepped. Yep. And on the other oven, we mold smaller boats. They're a lot faster to be able to get them on.
Got it. Yeah. I got it. Yeah. So this goes way down there.
Yeah. There's a big pit that it sits down in.
So back and forth. All right.
Yeah. Close the door.
It's shutting.
You can get a shot of it.
Those listening in, that could be your XTR right there.
That's it.
That could be it. Do you have some guys that are actually like, it's actually an art for them, how they put into plastics and stuff like that? They can make certain swirls. That's kind of fascinating.
A lot of these guys have been doing this a long time. Okay. And they have like,
the art.
Totally. They have all these recipes that they have them dialed. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's really.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Okay, I see a lot of bridging
fixtures.
happening.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm putting two together from what you said earlier. You're putting inserts because this thing's wanting to collapse with the heat, so you're making sure it holds form.
So you want to make sure these are in the right spacing for your sidekicks.
Yep.
Same thing here.
I love my sidekicks.
Sidekicks help. Sometimes we'll even add air and keep the mold sort of puffed up with air.
Oh, really?
It helps. It helps sometimes. But in this boat, the fixturing's fairly minimal. And then
it's hot, man.
Yeah,
it is still hot.
It takes a while for these things to cool down, but you can see he'll trim this out. while the plastic is hot,
Makes it easier to cut.
He can actually just trim. That particular area has been designed to be thinner, so he can trim it out.
Got it. I like it.
See, boom,
Boom.
it is.
LTEs.
LTEs
I like
being
that color.
assembled. Yeah, that's a great color.
How do you choose your colors, right?
It is a sort of a community process.
Feedback process.
Like we just, as a group, we kind of we try to help out manufacturing by not going crazy on colors.
Right.
But
keep it to 4 usually.
Try to keep it to 4. That really helps dealers. Helps our manufacturing process if we don't have too many resins. You can see like all those boxes of resin.
Yeah,
if we had too many colors, the resin would just propagate in here. So
most popular color?
So for Bonafide, Top Gun Gray has been the top. It has been the seller. I wish someone would come up with like a new top color, so I could maybe we could evolve that, but it just keeps selling.
Hey,
so
people like it.
I mean, camo,
I like this
camo is really popular, right?
Yes.
Overall, like I always try to get one new color a season that's just a little different. But it's very hard to get these mixtures to look quite right. So it is quite a bit of experimenting, and that's probably. I know I have a lot of people say, well, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? A lot of it is just like you got to do the experimentation with it.
Yep.
And just because a color looks good on fabric or other plastics, it does not necessarily translate to roto-molding.
Right.
Roto-molding dulls colors really bad, so you got to really be careful about that.
All right, so she's rocking through, putting in the steering cables, just 4 at a time.
Yeah, that's.
Probably get pretty good at this.
They do. They have a process where rather than like rolling down a production line that's linear, let's say, their process is a little bit more, because these boats take a lot of effort of like specific things, running cables, things like that. So they just set them up, and it seems to work really well because quality is much better going this route.
Got it.
And that's really the main thing. It's probably less about speed, and it's more about
quality control.
Did we hit all the right spots on the boat? And so a lot of the people that work in assembly, they are honestly like really, really dedicated to knocking this stuff out consistently.
Yeah.
So I can
see you get really good at it after a while.
You do.
Dial it in.
It is definitely like when they have a whole line of boats set up out here.
Yeah.
They are moving. They're definitely moving. So it's cool.
It's interesting. You look from one boat to the next. They're different.
They're all different.
They're all
a little different.
You're never going to get one that's. They're all kind of one-on-one on when it comes to color.
And that all has to do with,
how they poured the plastic.
We also recycle boats that don't mold correctly. So we do have some scrap. And that's nice. The plastic does recycle.
There you go.
Do
you use virgin HDPE? Is that how it works?
Some of it is. There's regrind in like small parts and stuff like that. But the boats are virgin HDPE.
You got them stacked.
Yeah. So this helps us mold. Like I was talking a lot earlier about figuring out how to mold the right boats and when, and getting them off the correct oven and all of that. So this helps us. We can pre-stage. These are like partially assembled boats, and then they'll come down, get finished out. The seats, pods, deck pads get added, and then they head off to the warehouse.
I do want to get into the hammer. That's going out the door now.
Yeah.
And what are people saying? What's your initial feedback you're getting?
I think it's been great.
Yeah.
I got to pedal the hammer quite a bit because I was working on the pedal drive.
Sure, the X drive, the new X drive.
The X drive, while Shane was doing the hammer, and the glide and the effortlessness of that boat is so nice.
Yeah, because
it's really built
performance.
It's built for some performance. It is sort of a more performance version of like the Titans. The Titans, you can haul everything with those boats, and they perform really nice. But the hammer has got more glide to it, and it still has plenty of storage for most people.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice blend of sort of like.
So if you're like a
big boat and
I would imagine the type of angler it would be for is like if you like to get to spot faster from point A to point B, and you're on the move a lot.
Yeah.
less minimalist than like someone who's gonna roll out with an XCR wants everything on it.
Right.
Kind of that middle ground.
It's a good middle range, and it also has the shape of the boat allows it to be a little bit more, I would say, like choppy water. So
Okay.
like even though the stability of the Titans is really high, the shape of the hammer allows it to sort of move and bob up over waves and things like that. So it's going to work really well if you're on really big lakes.
Got it.
Bigger water, stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming full circle over here.
Yeah, we
got the sewing.
We've kind of wandered through the staging. We've got some inventory, parts,
plastics.
We sort of wandered past the small parts area.
Deck pads.
Yeah. We've got a crew here that they do all the assembly of our pods, our deck hatches, and all that stuff in small parts as well.
Got it.
So all of that's kind of done back in this region.
And this is the. You guys sew it all.
This is sewing.
Here.
Yeah, absolutely. We bring in our fabric on the roll.
Check it out, Dick. Oh yeah, that looks
so you
familiar.
can see the spacer mesh,
Yep.
different fabrics. We also do boat, our own boat covers.
Yep.
All of that stuff is done right here, and we have I don't know how many sewing machines, but we can die punch out all of the fabrics and stitch and sew everything right in house.
So that material you use, it obviously doesn't hold water. You don't want it holding water.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't hold. It doesn't hold like mildew. Yeah. Grab some.
All right. So this is it.
Yeah. So this is pretty cool.
This is what you usually don't get to see.
This is a monofilament spacer mesh, and it actually has coiled fibers. So in our a lot of our seat pads, we actually sandwich that between like good Cordura fabric.
Yeah.
And it allows your seat to breathe, but it doesn't hold moisture, and it also doesn't hold mildew and get all kind of gunked up. But it gives you a nice feel for like that suspended seating.
Looks like you just took all my old fishing line and just shoved it in.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So that stuff is, this stuff is also used in automotive seating.
Okay, so
like
it looks similar to the inside of like the Yak Attack seat cushion.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah.
Right.
Very similar. And then this comes in different widths and all of that. So
stiffnesses,
so we can add that to our kayak seats. That's a premium that has worked out pretty well for most of the stadium seat style seats that we use. So yeah,
this place is humming here coming up in a month or two.
Yeah. This will be. A lot of the stuff gets built to order a little bit. So depending on the time of the year, they can be pretty slammed with just the sewing just for the kayaks that are going out the factory. So
do people come to you often like, hey, can you mold our boats? Can you sew our seats? Can you ...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we're doing some NuCanoe boats, for example. So we have been doing helping.
We just got colder.
Yeah, this is the chilly side.
Cold storage.
It was a cold storage factory, I think, at one point. And this is our.
Oh wow!
This is our warehouse. So we're going to see a few kayaks. Might have to light them up.
You got some kayaks.
We'll have to walk down the thing for the lights to.
No, you got thousands of kayaks.
I would imagine so.
You're pushing over 1,000. If all these are full, dig on.
Here we go.
Oh look,
they light up.
And you were coming.
Boom. Isn't that cool?
Got your Falcons, Falcon, your Kiowas.
Yep.
Oh wow! So these just picked up, put on a truck, and they go all over the country.
Yeah, and one thing that we do here that's we try to help out with the shipping side when things get busy, and we have a big tractor trailer to load.
Yeah. All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Unfortunately, I'm probably not back here enough. I should be back here more.
Unfortunately, don't have to.
But you get your CrossFit in for the day, grabbing boats and hauling them out. I think they loaded somebody up this morning. Yeah, we'll get the group text and like, hey, come help.
If you can, come.
If you can, come out and help load.
Okay, you just throw them on these and roll them down here and put them on a truck.
Yep, they go on the carts and we'll stage them all here, and then they go out the back door for tractor trailers, or independent dealers can come pick up here too.
All right. So these go all over the country. You mostly there's your X range and your Propel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How's the what's the feedback on the X-Range? That's kind of fairly new.
It's fairly new, so we're just getting feedback, but it's been really good.
Okay.
And I've been using one for quite a while, so I've been testing and getting them ready to go. But yeah, it's great. It's the same sort of essential componentry that makes it reliable, but we just upgraded, the way it goes together. So storage is better.
Yeah.
Folds up now, and we also improved for the hammer. It has improved capacity, and that has to do with the length of the prop in the water. So the prop sits in the water a little deeper now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So this is the dark art of how do you stack kayaks with the most inside of a truck.
This is a Jenga game right here.
I feel like you can get one more in there. I'm not lying. I see top right.
If I were to
a shallow skiff.
You should see how these guys, they have to get in there and pull the boats up into the truck.
Oh gosh.
And sometimes
then you got to get out.
Yeah, then you got to get out. Yeah. And again, one of the things that I feel like we do here really well. These guys are extremely good at packing trucks, so the boats keep their shape while they're shipped. That's a really big thing, because if you got a truck that's running to California,
at 115 degrees outside,
115 degrees outside, yeah. So they put a lot of effort. The boats are all individually wrapped. They're sitting in ways that the plastics are not just smashing each other. Yeah,
they're in the voids.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of engineering that goes into just making sure that they get where they need to go.
Do you even think about that at all when designing?
We have to, yeah, because trailers are so important.
Right.
I think a lot more about shipping and trailering, and then obviously motorization.
Yeah.
So I'm working more towards like how do the motors work with pedal drives.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. But trailering boats now, bunks that run across the boat versus bunks that run down the length of the boat, all that stuff.
You got to start thinking about.
Got to think about
That's
it.
Where it's going.
Because you can only put out so many, like, service announcements that are like, don't ratchet your kayak.
Don't do that.
People just do it anyway. So yeah. But shipping, I try to design stuff so that when things get packaged up, the boats nest together better. It saves it. You're shipping a lot of air in a tractor trailer.
100%.
So, you got to just try and get them as compact as you can. So
now I'm curious. We're coming to the end of this tour. A couple questions for you. What is one thing you wish people would know? It's maybe a misconception, maybe about the company, maybe about how boats are made. What's something you often get? You're like, hey, I have my opportunity to talk about it. Now's that opportunity.
So a lot of times I see people say that's a ridiculous amount of money for a kayak.
Sure.
And what you're seeing here is the results of a lot of time and innovation that we spend. We spend a lot of time trying to make things better. And so if you buy a kayak from us, if you can afford to, and they're not cheap, but if you can afford to buy from us, you're helping pay for us to keep innovating.
Yep.
And like the processes that you see today, you can get kayaks cheaper made on like a more mass scale.
Sure.
And a lot of those kayaks will have innovation that has been copied from us. But we put a lot of effort into making our boats with the best processes we can, and we do as much as we can try to innovate in our future designs so that when you get something from us, we're trying to make them better and better.
Yeah.
So if you buy from us, you're sort of helping yourself.
There's a pizza place where I live.
Yeah.
And on the billboards, they advertise, you can buy cheaper pizza, but then you got to eat it.
That's it.
Right? So you can buy a cheaper kayak, but then you got to fish out of it. And,
absolutely.
Usually what people don't, it's the aftercare. I know you guys take care of your people. And so you guys have a nice, solid, I wouldn't call it a cult following because you're bigger than that. You have a nice following people. People were jacked up when they saw that I was coming to Big Adventures.
Oh, that's perfect, and that's the space we kind of live in.
Yeah.
So this is the X-Range room.
Ooh, the X-Range room.
X-Range room. There we go. This is where we're building X-Ranges. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to see in here as far as like the process, but we bring in parts, the gearing, the housings. Some of them are machined, some are cast.
Yep.
And those you can see the
upper housing,
lower housings.
Nice.
Yep. So all the assembly is here. And so they have a whole process. And how many do you guys typically build at a time?
We do like 100 to 40 a week.
Yeah.
100. Wow.
So 100 and some a week they'll build back here. So it gives you some idea.
Do warranty claims and stuff come here for to get fixed?
They'll do warranty. If there's any issues that come up, they'll pull us in to see if, kind of see what needs to happen with them and all that.
Sure.
So yeah.
No, looks very familiar. So is that a prototype with all the color?
Yeah, that's one of the prototypes that we were.
For the X-Range.
Yeah, for the X-Range. Shane and I were working on that. So we use a lot of 3D printing in our process and testing things out.
Give me the evolution of the Propel drive, because it's been out like 13, 14 years, right?
Yeah.
And so am I looking at it up here?
I would have guessed so. I'm not an expert on all the versions of it, but way back with Shane and I think Woody, they were originally promoting it. But I think they've just improved the gearing,
sure,
improved the prop efficiency and all of those things over the years. And so we went from the previous version was called the 701. This is the 801 in terms of how we refer to it.
Yep.
But the X-Range, it combines in the pivot, storability, the new cavitation plate, and then it obviously adds capacity to the hammer, so that it's a lot to explain, but it basically allows the boat to sit differently, so that now the floor underneath the pedal drive sits higher,
okay,
which means that you can carry more in your kayak. So yeah,
the more you know.
We've been able to sort of, yes, this is it. These are not the drones you're looking for.
Yeah, right.
So this is the Propel room. This is where it all happens for getting our pedal drives ready to go.
What was the hardest thing about designing the X-Range? Your biggest hurdle?
A lot of it was just like, can we make these improvements? For example, the front thwart, the thwart tube that attaches to the boat.
Yep.
This now disconnects.
Okay.
So what that does is you can leave this part with your boat,
right,
and the rest of it can come out easily. And now you don't
have this thwart bar,
exactly,
and now you can lay it down on its side,
yeah,
versus it bouncing around the back of my truck.
Exactly.
I mean, just hypothetically,
yeah. and tearing up the back of your vehicle and all of those things.
I might have had one fall over on rod.
Yeah.
Now I have two rods.
Yes, you have two rods or other one.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
That's
innovation.
Really just trying to capture all the improvements that we knew we could get, but did we have time to get it done?
Understood. All right. So you got 4 brands going. You got Liquid Logic, Hurricane, Native, and Bonafide, right?
That's correct.
All right.
Yep. And so in the store here, this is nice for us, so we're able to display not only what we make here, but a lot of the goods that go along with our fishing kayaks, with our recreational kayaks, with our whitewater kayaks. So, we've got NRS and paddles and Astral, local brand Astral.
I have some shoes from them. I actually have those shoes right there.
They're awesome shoes.
Interesting. We were just at Yak Attack. These were coming off the conveyor belts.
Yeah.
The power link plates, and so it's all coming together. You guys are giving you
it's a
full circle here.
It is a little community. We have Yak Attack makes a lot of stuff for us, track, a lot of injection molded parts for our seats and stuff like that. So
if you guys haven't checked out that video, check out the Yak Attack tour. It's probably going to be an 1.5 to 2 hour long video, because Wade took us into everything, but that's also an interesting one. I'm partnering with NuCanoe. I've been using their Pro Kit for a long time. This is fun. All right, I'm talking. You talk. I want to hear from you.
Absolutely. So let's head to the back and check out some manufacturing.
Grab a few of those, stick them in your pocket. Yeah.
You can't have those.
Tyler said I could have as many jackhammers as I wanted. Right, Tyler? Yeah, I heard.
Right.
He said I'm good.
Right. Something that's a little bit less known is that we also have a brand called Hurricane, which is a thermoform brand. It's lighter weight. It's 25 to 30% lighter. So that's what you see over here.
They're not made here, though.
They are made in a separate factory in North Carolina.
Got it.
They're thermoformed ABS. I actually do some of the design work for Hurricane, but Hurricane's been around quite a while.
Yeah.
And they're super popular for people who want to lift a boat that's a little lighter.
Sure.
And they're built around efficiency. They're built around just lightweight transportability. And you can see we have some sort of touring kayak style designs, and then they also have stuff that's a little bit more sit on top we still use the frame seats and make them really comfortable. But like the Osprey 120's really popular, and you know that boat's around 50 pounds.
Oh, nice.
So it's really nice. You know, if you want to car top it, you can just.
Where do these go? Like, where are they popular?
They're definitely popular in Florida.
Got it.
That is a great boat for our Florida customers.
Terrible name for Florida customers, by the way.
Yeah.
Terrible. Hurricane.
The brand was founded long ago, so I feel like maybe we should think about that. Yeah, absolutely. And then you can see this is my favorite color of for Bonafide this year, the Andros green. But yeah, so we got all this kind of stuff in the store. And
I'm taking one of these home, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds
price.
like you guys got some sick deals. If you guys are close to here, this won't be here probably by the time you see this video. $700 for the RS-117. This is like just is just here though. You can only get that price. You gotta come in here.
Yeah,
I like it. I own this boat, own this color, love it.
This is my favorite one to fish out of for just almost any water. I keep one of these around ready to go.
Like it.
Yeah.
Then I own that boat too. P127. Running for a couple years.
You own a lot of boats already.
I own a lot of boats.
Don't come to my backyard. It's a kayak graveyard back there.
Oh, really?
Too many. I got a lot of boats to get rid of. No, I appreciate you guys coming and doing the factory tour
I learned a ton. This is awesome.
And now you get to literally see how the pizza is made.
That's how it's made. And I got to take one home with me. Again, my third or fourth Bonafide.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
You stealing one out the back? Is that the plan?
I don't know. I was looking. Depends who's looking.
Yeah, that's right.
Just back it up the back and pick one. I have bunks for two. Yeah.
There you go. I'll check your trailer on the way out.
I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. We're going to continue to go on the road. We're heading to Cash and Rods and the Humminbird facility down in Eufaula. So road trip 2026. Thanks for watching. See you.